Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flying Miata Garage. In today's video, we're going to cover the installation of an MX5Things RF roof controller. Alright, now this installation covers the RF roof controller. Now, as the name implies, that only covers RFs. Sorry soft top guys, your soft tops don't have motors, so there's nothing to control. So, let's go over the components of the kit. Fairly simple. We have the module, we have a jumper harness, and a provided USB to micro USB connection. Now let's go over the tools that will be required. We have a 10mm socket, 10mm box end or gear wrench, a small flat blade screwdriver, have a shop light or flashlight. Now this is going to be used inside the car, so nothing too big. And optionally, a bungee cord. This one's a little on the small side. You don't need anything robust, but maybe something a little bigger than this. And optionally is a computer. Now the computer use will depend on whether or not you're okay with the default settings that the module comes with. If you want to do anything besides those default settings, you will need a laptop to program it. Now those default settings are listed on our website under the product's description. Now let's talk about programming the module. Now this can be done at the bench, which is a little bit easier, or you can do it in the car. In this case, we're going to do it at the bench. Now the software is available on our website under the product description. There's a separate download link whether or not you're using a PC or a Mac. In this case, we're using a PC. So we will initiate the download. When you click the link, it will download the file into your downloads folder. I typically open that up and I copy and paste the executable program onto the desktop so I have it easily accessible later. Now we'll go ahead and open up the program with the module unplugged. Once it's open, you will notice near the top there is a drop down for which COM port we want to use. Now there are 4 COM ports listed. Now let's plug in our module. You should see a 5th COM port appear. That 5th COM port, whatever number it may be, is the COM port for the module. So we'll select that. In our case, it's COM 8. And then we will hit connect. We are now connected to our module, and you will see the various settings that we're able to change. So go ahead and change the settings as you see fit. Once you're done changing your settings, you will click the disconnect button, and then you can close out of the software. And now we're ready to install this into the car. All right, now, before we get started, we want to go ahead and lower our top and lower our windows. Now the next step will be to disconnect the negative battery terminal. Now the RF computer for the car is located behind the driver's seat, so that's where we'll be working. So first thing, we'll get the seat slid up and out of the way, and then we'll pull some plastic panels out of the way so we have access to that computer. Now the first panel we need to remove is this threshold panel, and it removes just by pulling straight up on the front and on the back. Now we want to remove this quarter trim panel here. It's held in place by this plastic rivet and these 3 plastic rivets. So we'll remove those. So to remove the plastic rivet, I'm just putting a screwdriver under the head and popping it up just a little bit, and that releases the rivet's grip. You can then pry underneath the main collar of the rivet to remove it. Once we get this panel out of the way, this panel will be lifted up. There's one more clip back here. It's not a rivet, it's just a clip. So we can just pull up and it will pop out of place. Okay, and then to actually remove this panel, there's a couple metal clips that hold it to the pinch weld. So we need to work it forward. Sometimes those clips will stay on the metal pinch weld, sometimes they'll stay with the panel. And then there's also a peg here that has a clip behind the panel. You can't see it. So you kind of want to feel for where it's at. Get your fingers back there and pull straight toward the front of the car. There's that clip I was just talking about. All right, now our next step is going to be very challenging to show you on camera, so I'll kind of do the work and let you see it afterward. So underneath this panel here, we need to remove two more things out of the way to gain access to our module's plugs. So we will flip up our panel, and using our 10mm ratchet, we will remove this nut. And now that that nut is removed, we will fold down this bracket that retains the cable here. This I might be able to show you a little bit. Okay, so you can see I rotated this bracket down past the plastic. Now the last thing to move out of the way is this little flap door here. So I'll kind of have to get in the way, but I will flip that up. And now you can see our RF computer plugs. Now there are 4 in total. We need to remove the two most interior plugs. They should be white and blue. Go for it. So I will do that now. Okay, we have those pulled. And now we're ready to install our jumper. Male plugs go into the RF computer. The female plugs will take in the male plugs just removed. And the black plug will go to our new module. Okay, we have our jumper harness plugged in. Now all we need to do is plug in our module. Now this module, it's easy to leave the USB cable plugged in and just stow it behind your seat. This owner did not want that, so we are leaving it off, but it is a good idea to have that available for any future programming. Now we'll just tuck this module back in here a little ways. Now here's how everything should look once the module is stowed. Now we're ready to put everything back together. Now the first thing, we'll move that flap back down to cover the plugs. Now we need to rotate our cable retaining bracket back up. And this one's kind of a pain. Now there's a peg and a threaded stud that it mounts to. Now that the bracket's in place, we'll install our nut. Okay, now we are all back together. We can put our plastic panels back in place. So we'll start with our quarter trim panel. I'll begin the installation by getting this peg into the correct place and also lining up these pieces with the clips that retained on the pinch weld. It also does have to slip up underneath this panel. Now we can install our plastic rivets. So we'll start with the inboard one that we removed last. Just the clip, pushes straight in. Plastic rivets, we'll pull the head out, not all the way, just enough to where it wants to stop. Put the rivet in and push the center of the head in. And the little guy up here. And now our threshold panel just gets lined up and firm downward pressure seats it in place. Move our seat back. All right, now we're ready to test. All right, now before we can test anything, we need to hook up our battery. Now this module actually has quite a few features built in. To see a complete list of those features, please see our website. Now, to confirm the function of the module after our installation, I do want to show you the one-touch control, and we've also inverted the control. So I will simply press up on the switch for just a moment, and the top will go through its full travel. So first we will key on, and now we want to raise the top. So raise the top, push up, and now hands-free. And the other way, we'll push down on the switch, just a moment, and the rest, hands-free. All right, that wraps up this installation of the MX5Things RF roof controller. I hope this helps you with your install. If you have any questions, please reach out to our CSR department and they'll be able to help you out. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll do more videos like this in the future. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.